Hey, welcome. Today, we're going to break down the pro-level, step-by-step process for cleaning a commercial restroom. And listen, this isn't just about making a room look shiny. It's a detailed procedure that's all about safety, efficiency, and getting things truly, deeply clean. Let's dive right in.
Yeah, that quote really hits the nail on the head, doesn't it? I mean, we're talking about a small space that can be a real hotspot for germs and bacteria. So the work we're about to walk through, it is absolutely crucial for keeping everyone safe and healthy.
Okay, so here's our game plan. We're going to walk through these 6 key phases. Think of it like a mission that guarantees we don't miss a single thing from start to finish.
All right, first up, the mission. And I really want you to think about this as more than just a chore. It's a critical mission, seriously. Because the quality of your work, it directly impacts the health and safety of every single person who uses that restroom.
Okay, which brings us to our next phase, gearing up. Any successful mission is built on a solid foundation of preparation. This is all about making sure you're set up for a safe and super effective clean before you even touch a sponge.
So before you do anything else, you've got to run through this checklist. Make sure your cart is stocked. Announcing yourself, not just polite, it's a huge safety step. Once you know it's empty, you secure the area. And then you're doing a quick scan of the room. Are there any broken items, any biohazards or spills that need special attention before you start the regular clean?
All right, next up is your PPE. That's your personal protective equipment. And look, this stuff isn't just a uniform, it's your armor. We're talking gloves, safety glasses, everything that protects you from chemicals and germs. Using it is absolutely non-negotiable. Period.
And speaking of that armor, let's get specific about the 2-glove system. So, you've got your disposable gloves on first. That's your base layer. Then, when it's time for the heavy-duty wet work, you pull on those thicker, yellow janitor gloves right over top. Why? This double layer gives you maximum protection and really helps stop cross-contamination in its tracks.
Okay, so our gear is on, the area is secure. It's time to start the first active cleaning phase, the dry work. And the strategy here is super important. We always work from high to low, and we tackle all the dry tasks before we get into any heavy liquids. So, your first move, your first strike really, is to pre-spray the big fixtures. Now, why do we do this first? It's all about something called dwell time. See, disinfectants aren't magic. They don't work instantly. They need a few minutes sitting on a surface to actually kill the germs. So by spraying now, you let those chemicals do their thing while you get on with other jobs. All right, while that disinfectant is dwelling, it's the perfect time to restock everything. And here's a huge critical safety rule. When you get to those sanitary boxes, you never reach inside with your hands, ever. Always use a tool.
Okay, next on the list is dusting, and we're sticking to that golden high to low rule. You'll see we use different tools for different heights, high dusters for vents, cloths for ledges, and so on. This whole system just makes sense, right? Any dust that falls is going to get picked up later when we do the floors.
So, after dusting, you've swept up the floor, but that brings up a really important question. What do you do with that pile of debris?
And here is the pro move, the only way to do it. All that debris goes straight into the trash bag on your cart. You never use the trash can that's inside the restroom. Why? Simple. It prevents you from recontaminating the room and makes sure all that mess leaves with you.
All right, dry work is done. Now it's time for the core of the mission, the wet work. This is where we get into the nitty-gritty of disinfecting and scrubbing to get that deep, thorough clean.
Okay, pay close attention here, because this slide is basically your mission-critical cheat sheet. This color-coded system is an absolute game-changer for preventing cross-contamination. Think about it. The red cloth you use on a toilet should never, ever come anywhere near a sink or a counter. Sticking to this system is one of the most important things you can do.
So let's see how this system works in action. For sinks, you're grabbing your blue cloth and your yellow sponge. Then for urinals and toilets, it's the green scratch pad for inside the bowl and that dedicated red cloth for all the outside surfaces. And you'll notice the flushing protocol too. Flushing a couple of times before and after ensures everything's rinsed out properly as you work.
Okay, the heavy scrubbing is done, but hold on, the mission is not over yet. We are now moving into the final phase, the final checks. This is where we take care of the trash, mop the floors, and, this is key, do a really thorough self-inspection.
Here is a simple, non-negotiable rule of the pros. Every single trash liner gets replaced. Every single time you clean. Doesn't matter if the can looks empty. A fresh liner just screams,
This is a high-quality, professional clean. Okay, before that mop hits the floor, do one last walkthrough. You're using your eyes, right? Looking for mist spots, straight hairs, little smudges, but just as important, you gotta use your nose. A truly clean restroom doesn't just look clean, it smells clean. If it doesn't smell fresh, your job's not done.
And now for the final touch, mopping. We use the figure-8 method. Now the secret here, the whole point, is to work your way backwards, right out of the room. It's so simple, but it's what keeps you from leaving a trail of footprints on your beautifully clean, wet floor. And of course, don't forget that wet floor sign.
So, the room is sparkling, it's inspected, it's drying. This last part of the mission complete, is all about your safety and wrapping things up the right way. Knowing how to take your gloves off correctly is so important. This is how you avoid contaminating yourself. So first, you pinch and peel one glove off, turning it inside out as you go. You hold that bundled up glove in your other gloved hand. Then, you slide your clean, ungloved fingers under the cuff of the glove that's still on, and peel it down over the first one. See? Everything is trapped inside a neat little ball.
And that brings us to what is, without a doubt, the single most important final step in this entire process. After all the gear, all the chemicals, all the procedures, nothing, and I mean nothing, is more important than a good, thorough hand washing. That's your final, and best, line of defense against all those germs.
So, as we finish up here, just remember, the work you do following these steps creates a safe and healthy space for maybe hundreds of people every single day. That's a huge deal. So with that in mind, I want you to think about this. What's one detail we talked about today that you're going to focus on to really elevate your next clean?